Hey, kia ora. Helen Brahms here, coming to you live from Surprise in Arizona. Hope you're having a super fantastic, sparkling day. Welcome to Before the Dirt Nap podcast number 1658. Happy Valentine's Day. I should have a pink shirt on, shouldn't I, instead of a blue? Oh, well, we can't change that now. So tonight, as this is Valentine's Day, I thought we should look at, and I'm by myself for Valentine's Day. This is my seventh. Hang on. Yeah, my seventh Valentine's Day since Brad passed. So I thought, what would somebody who is in my situation, what sort of things can I do to celebrate Valentine's? Not that Brad and I used to celebrate Valentine's Day anyway. I think there was one Valentine's Day we did out of all the years we were together. We just felt like every day was Valentine's Day. We had our own Valentine's Day, which was our wedding anniversary. But I thought, there are people out there who are in my situation who are widows and widowers, and what are some of the things that they could do on Valentine's Day if they were people who would celebrate Valentine's Day with their loved ones. And so I came up with a list of some things to try out. And then I also thought, well, there's also those that are single for whatever reason, whether they've had a breakup, they don't have if they don't have anybody special in their lives. Most people have, like family and friends that they can talk with, but they just don't have that someone special. So what could they do so tonight we're looking at singles. We're looking at what singles can do to celebrate Valentine's Day, and we're looking at what widows and widowers can do for Valentine's Day. So in the comments, I would like you to put some of the things that that you would do if you are single or a widow or widower, how you celebrate Valentine's Day. If you celebrate Valentine's Day, do you just do it as another day? Do you just completely ignore it, or do you do something special? So let us know. And we've got people who are watching on Facebook, so we've got the comments going there. We've got the comments going for YouTube, and we've also got TikTok going as well. So thank you everybody for coming in and joining us. And I just realized the bottom of top of my phones. Well, that's really cool. Didn't notice that before. Okay, so let's get this started. So for those of you who are widows and widowers, here are some ideas that you can do for Valentine's Day if you used to celebrate it with your loved one. You could honor memories. Now, I know there are some people out there too that also today would have been their wedding anniversary as well, because there's a lot of people that get married on Valentine's Day. I understand that some people like the 14th of February as a wedding date because it makes it easy to remember. I get that. I also just don't understand why you would spend because to me, Valentine's Day is just it really is a commercial day, getting people to buy flowers and candies and gifts and all that sort of stuff. So, but here's some ways that we can do it. So one of them is we can honor memories. We can take some time to honor and remember the love that we shared. This could be through looking at photos, listening to a favorite music, or visiting a special place that holds significance for you both. I do this on Brad's birthday, on our yes day, on our wedding anniversary. What other days do I do it on? Those are the three main ones: Brad's birthday, our wedding anniversary, and yes day. Yes day is the day that he proposed, and that's coming up in a couple of months. That was a fun day because the first time I did it, he called me up and he goes, "What the heck?" Because all I did is I called his office and his voicemail picked up because I knew he wasn't there because it was too early for him to be at the office. I went to work earlier than he did. And so I called him up, left a message. I called his office purposely and left a message on his, "Hey, Robert from Daytona Beach, welcome. And I purposely left a voicemail and all I said was, yes, and hung up. And he calls me back later and he goes, "Why did you leave a voicemail that said yes?" And I said to him, I says, "Don't you realize what today is?" He's like, "Should I?" I said, "Yes, you should know what it is." And he's like, "Huh." And he goes, "I'll have to think about this." I says, "Yes, you better think about this." I said, "It's a very easy one to remember." And he sits there and he goes, "Is this the day I proposed to you?" And I went, "Yes, it is. I was just letting you know I'm still saying yes, even though we were already married at that time." And he was like, "Okay." And every year we'd go through the same routine every time. And once he finished working, we would then once he finished at his job and we were like working from home instead, both of us working from home, I would text him a message that would say yes, or I'd put on Facebook yes, and just leave it at that. So just little things like that make things special. Sometimes I would make his lunch for him and slip a little note inside his, if I was making a sandwich, slip a little note inside the sandwich that just said yes on it, or I love you, put a little heart in there. I did lots of little stuff like that. I love doing stuff like that. It could be a day to connect with loved ones, spending time with family and friends who understand and support you. So other fellow widows and widowers. Sharing stories and memories can be comforting as well. You could create a tribute, plant a tree or a flower in memory of your loved one, or perhaps make a donation to a charity they cared about. Creating something positive in their memory can be a healing gesture. Let's see what else. Self-care day. Treat yourself with kindness. Have a spa day at home. Take a long bath. I will tell you this right now. I do not like baths. If I had a master suite and it did not have a bath in it, I would be very happy. I would rather have the bigger shower than having a bath. Brad loved having a bath. We had this one back in Virginia in our house there that was meant to be a two-person bath, but we didn't quite fit two people in there because my husband was 6'5" and had the size to go with it. So when he got into that two-person bath, he loved it because he could scooch down in it. He could get the water up over himself, and not like other baths where he didn't have the space. But he loved it, and it had the jets in there, and he would be up there for at least an hour in the bathtub. I can tell you, I can count on one hand the number of times I actually used the bath in that house in the 13 years we were in that house. That's how often I take a bath. And there was one time when we've been doing a lot of work and stuff, and I had very sore shoulders. I had a sore back from it. And he says, look, go take a bath and soak. And I'm just like, you know how much I hate it. So I went up there. He actually went upstairs and drew a bath for me. And then he says, here you go. And he bought my book in that I was reading. He had a cold drink for me. I don't drink alcohol. So he had just water. It's basically all I drink, water. So he had a glass of water there for me, or a cup of water there for me in a plastic cup. And he said he set the bubbles going so it would massage. He says, just get on the front of the jet so they can massage your back and your shoulders and all that. I lasted 5 minutes in that bath. I got too hot. I run hot anyway on the best of days. That is why things like ginkgo and ginseng do not work on me as energy. They actually put me to sleep because those are a friend of mine who is a Chinese medicine doctor told me, I said, why do these herbs make me sleep? She goes, because I am warm-blooded and they are warming herbs. So the warming herbs will actually make you go to sleep if you're a warm-blooded person like me. So yeah, I lasted 5 minutes in that bath and I had to get out. I was just way too hot. I can't stay in jacuzzi tubs, hot tubs, anything like that for too long because I just overheat very, very quickly. So anyway, so total sidetrack here. Take a long bath, read a book, or do anything else that brings you comfort and relaxation. I can definitely do that. I could also watch movies. Journaling. Writing down your thoughts and feelings can be therapeutic. I can totally attest to that one. I had a big, long journaling session this morning. You might write a letter to your loved one about your memories together or how you're feeling now. Now, there are times that I actually send a card to Brad. That when I've received them, I have never opened them. They go into a special box that I have, and they're just cards just letting them know how I feel about the fact that he's no longer here, catching him up on news. And I know that, wherever he is already aware of all of this, but it just lets me get it out and feel like I'm talking to him and sending him cards and things like that. So I do that, especially sending him letters and things like that. And they arrive, and of course they're addressed to him. So they just go into the special box that I have. Engage in a hobby. Spend time on activities that bring you joy, whether it's knitting, crochet, cooking, or anything else that you love doing. Those are the things I like to do. Engaging in hobbies can be a wonderful distraction and a source of happiness. You can also do hobbies and interests that you used to do together as well. There may be some hobbies and things that you used to do together that you haven't done since your loved one passed. Maybe you could, I haven't done 10-pin bowling and I don't know how long. I'm not even sure. I think we got rid of my ball. haven't seen it for a while. Maybe we did get rid of it. I don't know. But we used to go 10-pin bowl, and we used to play in a Sunday league, and we haven't done that in a lot of years. Yeah, once he got his cancer diagnosis, we pulled out of the league. Let's see. Solo adventure. If you feel up to it, plan a small solo adventure or a day trip somewhere peaceful, like a nature reserve, beach, or scenic spot where you can reflect and find some solace. Now, if you are going to go hiking anywhere, hiking, tramping, bushwalking, whatever, and you're going to be by yourself, especially if you're on different terrains and things like that, or going in the forests or national parks and things like that, make sure you have a safety beacon, a personalized safety beacon with you. There's times that you could get lost where your cell phone doesn't work, and you can just pop that thing open and it will send a signal out. It's got a little satellite signal thing that it sends, and you can get help that way. Especially if you fall down a ravine or something like that, and get into trouble while you're on the track. My parents were concerned about me RVing by myself and going into the boonies and back and beyond and all that sort of thing. So they were telling me about this personalized beacon thing. So I actually went and they have one when the two of them go hiking and tramping and things. And so I got my cell phone and kept it in the RV, and I still have it. So when we go anywhere where we could lose cell phone service, it's always with me. So safety first. Attend a support group. Sometimes talking with others who are going through similar experiences can be incredibly supportive. Absolutely. Consider joining a widow or widower support group, whether in person or online. If you go to Meetup, there's different widow groups and widower groups out there. I actually went on one when I was living in San Diego, and we went and it was Tuesday. And on Tuesdays in San Diego's, if you are a resident of San Diego and you've got to show your driver's license, which has your address on it, you actually get to go into some of the museums and galleries for free. And there's certain ones that they have on, then they have different ones every Tuesday. And you just need to show your driver's license and you get in for free. And that was a really cool day. I got to meet 3 lovely ladies. 2 of them were friends. The other one was like me, by myself. And that was actually a really cool outing that day, to be able to just be with people who understood and got it. And we went into one gallery, and they had this fabulous display about this incident that took place in San Diego. I can't remember what the incident was. It was a few years ago when I went on this thing. And there was all these different articles and everything written about it, all these photographs and everything else. The 2 women that were friends, they were walking through this exhibit, and what was really cool was being with them as they were reminiscing, because they remembered this incident that happened. There was I think it was like a riot or something. Is it a riot or a fire, or I can't remember what it was, but it was newsworthy, and there was a whole big story behind it. And it was interesting hearing their perspective of the incident and what they remembered about it. And it took place when they were children. And I think they were like probably around 10 to 13 years when this took place. So they were able to share their experiences with us. And as we're reading the articles, they go, "Oh, I remember that. Do you remember meeting that person?" And they've been, like I said, they've been best friends for years. And so it was interesting to hear about this thing that took place in San Diego all these years ago, that this whole exhibit was about. And hearing their responses to it and what they remembered of it. It was, the genealogist in me came out and sort of like, "Woo, this is really cool. Stories. Yes, please tell me. So that was actually really cool to go out with them that day. And then we went and had lunch afterwards at one of the restaurants in Balboa Park. You could light a candle. Lighting a candle in memory of your loved one can be a simple yet profound act of remembrance and reflection. I don't use candles, but I'm happy to. I have candles that are battery operated ones, that not fire ones. In an RV, open flame, not a really good idea, except on the gas stove, and I'm really finicky about that one. So I would have, I've got battery operated candles, so yeah, I can easily do that one. Even being in a house, I won't light real candles in it. You could allow yourself to feel, and this is something that some widows and widowers do have a problem with, is sometimes we suppress our emotions about that person. And like I tell my friends who are new widows and widowers, my advice to them is, when the emotions come up, allow yourself to recognize the emotions, to show gratitude for those emotions showing up, and allow them to wash through and experience those emotions. And then after you've experienced those emotions, especially the tough ones that make you cry, I said, crying is a great stress reliever. there are certain movies out there that if I feel like I need a good cry and I can't, for whatever reason, just cry, that you can turn around and watch these movies and they will get me going every time. It doesn't matter how many times I've seen that movie. I will cry at exactly the same place in every movie, every time. And I know it's coming up and I still can't turn it off. So yes, if you need to cry, then cry. If you need to laugh and cry, you can do laughing and crying. Just take that time and just acknowledge it. There's nothing wrong with you stopping to experience the emotions. I do make sure that I am by myself in the house with Zeffie. It's really funny when I start crying, she just gets here and her eyes just go big. She just looks at me, her ears go up, her eyes go big, like, what am I supposed to do? But then she comes over and just comforts me. So she's really cool like that. Volunteer. Sometimes helping others can bring a sense of purpose and joy. Consider volunteering for a cause that you care about or helping someone in need. So those are some ideas for widows. Honoring the memories, connecting with loved ones, create a tribute, self-care day, journaling, engage in a hobby, solo adventure, attend a support group, light a candle, allow yourself to feel, create, I forgot that one, volunteer, and create new traditions. Consider starting a new tradition that honors your journey and the love that you'll always carry with you, because you will never move on from your loved one passing, but you will move forward, because that event will always, always be with you. You will carry it with you. So when you're creating new traditions, this could be anything meaningful to you, from a solo ritual to an activity with friends or family. So create new traditions. I like that one. Now, if you are by yourself without having lost a loved one, you're by yourself because you just don't have someone special in your life. Days like this can affect singles. So you could do things like pamper yourself, like in the widow thing, pamper yourself, do at home spa day, maybe even book into an actual spa and go to the spa that way as well. Light some candles, play your favorite music, and just enjoy the moment. Just be present in the moment. And for singles, even for widows too, it's a self-care day. It is learning to love yourself and caring for yourself and having just this beautiful day when you can honor yourself. You can, it's just putting some self-love on you. Mind you, you can do this any day of the week, but sometimes Valentine's Day just brings out that a little something special on that. Have a movie marathon, have a movie night with your favorite movies. Maybe it's some rom-coms you want to watch some rom-coms. Do I feel like watching rom-coms tonight? No, I actually feel like watching an action movie tonight. For those of you who follow me, you've heard this several times, is that Brad loved it when I turned around and says, right, I'm doing a chick flick day. And he's like, okay, because he knew he just had to put up with a movie for 90 minutes for a chick flick. And then the rest, it was action. The rest of the day was all action movies. He loved chick flick day. Although if I did put Legally Blonde on, he would actually sit there and watch it with me, because that was one of his favorite movies to watch. Only after we'd watched it over 100 times do we realize that the place that that Warner and Al have the breakup scene is on the exact spot that we stood and got married. Then it became extra special. So now that movie gets watched on our wedding anniversary. So I watched it in December for our wedding anniversary. It was pretty cool. Love that scene. Only because of all these memories of our wedding come back whenever I see Il Cialo's there. It's a restaurant in Beverly Hills called Il Cialo's, and the food was phenomenal. The owner of the restaurant actually made our wedding cake. It was 3 tiers. It was a chocolate cake. Yum. Chocoholic here. It had raspberry preserves all around the cake. That's kind of held them together. And then they made a white chocolate icing, which the raspberry preserve helped stick to the cake. My mouth is starting to water because I can still taste that cake. It's been 25 years and I can still taste that cake. It was that good. And then they decorated it with the flowers that we used for my wedding bouquet. And they did a phenomenal job of it. And a year later, we were able to defrost the top tier of that cake, and everybody that we went and visited while we were in LA on our first wedding anniversary got to have another slice of the cake with us. We got a lot of slices out of that, but it was such an amazing cake. They do a really, really good job. And as you see in the movie Legally Blonde, that patio area where they're actually on a patio area there, and the roof will actually open up. And where their table is the exact spot that Brad and I stood and got married. So that movie has a special meaning. So yes, so things like that. Let's see, where are we up to? Cook a special meal. Cook yourself a special meal, delicious, or bake something sweet. Cooking can be therapeutic, and you can enjoy a tasty treat at the end. I tell you, I've been having so much fun in the kitchen lately. Been cooking myself stuff every night. The other night I made mini quiches. They were really good. Those were really, really good. And I actually put tuna, hickory smoked tuna in the bottom of the quiches, and then just poured. I didn't have any cheese in the house, so I just made them. I used coconut milk and eggs, and whipped them up, and then poured them into and on top of the hickory smoked tuna. It was excellent. A little bit of Lowry salt on top. Perfect. It was really, really good. They were really good. Let's see. You could get creative. Spend some time on a hobby that you like. I've already talked about that one in the Widows thing. Take a nature walk if weather permits. Nature has a calming effect. I love walking in places where there are trees. We have trees in a park that's near us, and in the morning, Zeffie will pick a tree that she goes near, and while she's doing her thing and sniffing all around and doing her thing, I will hug the tree, and it's just nice just to put. It's actually one arm because the other arm's stretched out like this while Zeffie's doing her stuff. Just put hug a tree, a one-armed hug on a tree, and just I put my ear up against it so you can, and then I just calm my breathing down and be present in that moment, and you feel the heart. You can feel and hear the heartbeat of the tree, and then I just push out love and gratitude to these trees for the purpose that they're there for, to protect and shelter the wildlife that are in the area, for the shade that they give us, and for making the area look beautiful. So, and because I have heard and seen documentaries where trees actually form a network and will talk to each other if they're in the same forest and everything else, I have it pushed that message out to the other trees in the park as well. Some people will think I'm crazy. I don't care. That's me. That's what I do. It gives me peace. It helps me feel really good. And I'm present in that moment. And Zeffie, when she sees me hugging a tree, she just stands there very quietly. She doesn't even whine to say, come on, we've got to get moving. Come on. Any other time I stop, like to watch the jets fly overhead or to stop and watch the sunrise, she's, when I'm hugging a tree, silence. It's like she's there with me in the moment as well. You could read a good book. Yeah, I always love that, reading a good book. Doesn't matter. I will read just about anything. Meditation and yoga. I actually did that this morning. A great way to start the day. Well, not the yoga side, but the meditation side. You can connect with loved ones. You can reflect and journal. You can plan a future adventure. Where do you want to go next? Start planning. Use the day to dream and plan a future trip and adventure. It could be the ultimate trip. What is the ultimate trip? What is the ultimate trip you want to do? And why not start planning for it? People go, oh, it's going to be expensive. Is it really? Have you really researched to see what it's going to cost? Because if you've got this ultimate trip you want to do and you think it's expensive, go do some research on this trip. What is it actually going to cost you, so you can set the goal? This is the trip I want to take. This is when I want to take it. And now you have something that you can actually work towards to be able to take this dream trip of yours. I've got a dream to spend at least 2 nights in the Burj Al Arab in Dubai. If you don't know which hotel that is, that's one that looks like a very tall sail on a yacht. I've been in love with that hotel ever since I first saw a documentary on it. My dream is always to go there and spend a couple of nights there. I haven't figured out when it's going to happen yet, only because it's like, I think their cheapest room was like $2,000 a night. I think it worked out. Yeah, something might be a little more than that now, but that was when the place first opened. Beautiful property though. Let's see, what else have we got on here? So plan your future. Do an online class or workshop. I actually have an online class I'm working through this week and having a lot of fun learning things, especially about AI. And so that's one of my things that I'm learning and seeing how it can help me in business, how it can help me in my hobbies and things like that as well. So it's a very interesting thing. And it's all about how you ask, or the prompts that you put in. You could do virtual museum tours. Now, there are a lot of museums that are online that have virtual tours through the museums and things where you can see some of the famous sculptures, some of the famous history, artwork, and all of that sort of stuff. So check out check out some of the museums and art galleries that are online and see if they have virtual tours. Especially if you can't get to that place, it's a way that you can be there and you actually get to experience in real life, get to experience it for real. It's that much more special. You could create a vision board if you haven't done a vision board already. I like my vision board. It's actually sitting in postcards on my desk here, and I pick up postcards every day and look through it because I need to figure out how to stick them on my wall without damaging the wall, because I rent the place and they don't let you hang anything on the walls. So I'm trying to figure out how to put it up on the wall here in front of me so I can look at them every day. But yeah, how do you get them up there without damaging the walls? Let's see. You can declutter and organize. That's an ongoing thing in this house. I've still got boxes to unpack. You could listen to inspiring podcasts. I love doing that. Also like listening to inspiring books as well while I'm doing other things. You could try a new workout. Yeah. Is there, YouTube has a lot of really good stuff on it. Maybe there's a new workout that you want to try, or you've been hearing about this one. So go on YouTube, see if there's a video, a how-to beginners video, and try it out before you go and enroll in a gym or wherever it is to do the classes. You could practice gratitude. Now, this should be something everybody does every single day. Practice gratitude. Take time to write down the things that you're grateful for. Every day, always begin every day with a grateful heart. Focus on the gratitude to improve your mood and your overall outlook in life. And I will tell you, it works like a charm. That's one thing that I have been working on, because the last couple of weeks have been feeling a little not fully super fantastic and sparkle. The sparkle's been a little dull. And this morning I woke up feeling very refreshed, felt back in my own skin again. And so I came out to my table over there and I sat down. I pulled out my journal. I did this big long journal entry in there. I put a list of stuff I was grateful for. Then I got up and Zephy and I went for a walk, and we didn't actually see the sunrise. We actually got there a few minutes after the sun had risen, but that was okay. We got to see the sun this morning, just welcome in a brand new day, and be thankful for that. So practice gratitude every single day. Write down, if you want to get started, write down at least 3 things. Just start with 3. You can work your way up to other things. When I first started this, I started off with 3 things. And before I knew it, I'm writing these lists every morning and in the evening. In the morning, it's what I am grateful for. And then in the evening, what did happen to me today that I was grateful happened? It makes such a big difference on your outlook on everything. So that should be, practicing gratitude should be something that is done every single day. Plan a solo date. Take yourself out on a date. It could be as simple as a coffee, going and getting a cup of coffee, visiting a bookshop, having a picnic in a park. Enjoy your own company and do something that makes you happy. We should have done that this morning, Zephy. Should have gone and got her a pup cup. Got me I don't know, something with chocolate in it. And we could have gone to a park and had a little mini picnic. Explore local attractions. This is starting to sound like staycations. Which happens to be the name of my book. Have you seen my book? Where's my book? Here's my book. Staycation Challenge. And it's all about visiting your local challenge, being a tourist in your own locale for a day, and discovering things. Because if somebody came and knocked on your door and said, "Hey, I'm here for a few days. What can I see?" And I will tell you, I have met many people, including Uber and Lyft drivers and taxi drivers, that I say, "Hey, what's great to see in town?" And they looked at me with a blank expression and gone, yeah. But there is a story in this book about a guy I met, an Uber, a Lyft driver in Milwaukee, who gave me a great thing to go and see and do. So I said to him, "What is in your town that I can go? I'm here for the day. After I've been to Walmart, I'm going back to the hotel, but I need something to fill out the rest of the day. What can I do today that I can go and see that I can't see anywhere else?" And he didn't even hesitate. He just says, "You need to go and see the domes." And I'm like, "The domes?" And so he tells me about the domes. The story is in the book. It's called Staycation Challenge. It's not a very big book. It's only, I don't know how many pages did I do this one on? It's only 44 pages in length, but there's a lot of great stuff in here, a lot of great ideas and everything else. So it's all about doing Staycation Challenge and being a tourist and learning the things that are in your town, learning the things that are unique in your local area. So if somebody comes to town and says, "I want to, what can I go and see and do?" You're ready. you know what you can take them to see and do. And we even include some stuff that was in Vegas that we did, because we did a practice run on Vegas one time. We did a staycation challenge in Vegas for a couple of nights, and we saw some pretty cool stuff. But there'll be things in here. There's a gray area. The gray area, if you come across the shaded areas in the book, if you come across the gray areas in the book, that is where we're telling a story, tying a story to what it is that we did that could be considered a staycation if you're in that area. So it's a pretty cool book, even if I say so myself. Yes, I authored it. And then you could end the day with relaxation techniques such as deep breathing exercises, progressive muscle relaxation, or listening to calming music. It's a wonderful way to wind down in mental health. And I use the Calm app on my phone, and they have some great stories, meditations, music that can actually help you fall asleep. I did use one. Actually, no, that was on the Hay House. So I also have Empower app, which is done by Hay House. And I did a meditation last night that then goes, once you're asleep, basically the meditation puts you to sleep. And then while you're asleep, they do these affirmations. And it's meant to go for 2 hours, 22 minutes, and 22 seconds. And I woke up at one point to go to the bathroom, and I came back and there was 17 minutes left on it. And I'm like calculating, going, okay, that means I went to bed at 10 o'clock. I went to sleep at 10 o'clock. I thought we went to bed after 10 o'clock. But anyway, I let the last 17 minutes go. And for some reason, I woke up again that was just after midnight the first time. Then I woke up again around 2:30 in the morning, and this thing was still going. So I think it goes on a loop and just loops its way and just keeps playing over and over again. But I had to turn it off at that point because I kept waking up and hearing this voice and going, what the heck's going on here? So, but that was pretty cool. And so tonight I'm going to listen to another one because I have a 7-night series. So I'll listen to another one tonight and see what positive. And that's, I think, helped me. And because I was talking with a friend yesterday, and she says, why don't you do a meditation before you go to bed tonight that talks about this issue that you're having? And I said, I thought, I'll give it a go. And I did, and it worked. And I am back to full super fantastics and sparkling strength. So look out, world. So those are some ideas for if you're doing if you're having Valentine's Day by yourself. And some people don't even celebrate Valentine's Day. So that's fine too. I'm not a big celebrator of Valentine's Day, but I know there are people out there who love Valentine's Day for whatever reason. And this is my 7th one without Brad, and I can count on one hand. In fact, I can tell you one time we actually celebrated Valentine's Day. He actually came home with flowers for me that day, and I had already planned to cook a special meal that night. So I cooked a meal, made dessert, did a full, I think I did a roast that night, and we had like Yorkshire, and I did a traditional roast. So we had the roast, I had beef roast with Yorkshire pudding. And what else did I have? What do I normally do when I did the beef roast? There was the beef roast and the Yorkshire pudding. There were fresh baked bread rolls to go with that. I actually found a recipe that worked for me and bread. A bread course is something Brad and I always wanted to do together, how to cook bread and pastries. And then I made, I think I made pavlova for dessert that night. Yeah, that was a pavlova night, that one. And pavlova is national dessert of New Zealand. It is also the national dessert of Australia. And for years, since 1926, so almost 100 years, there's been this battle as to which country came up with it first. But the story goes that in 1926, Anna Pavlova was the prima ballerina of the Bolshoi Ballet, which was touring from Russia, which was touring New Zealand in 1926. And so one of the chefs in New Zealand at a hotel wanted to create something that celebrated her dancing. And so he came up with this thing called a pavlova after her. And it's basically a huge meringue. So you've seen these meringues that have these crusty outside and have just a little bit of a chewy inside. This one has almost a marshmallow inside. And I made one time when we had friends over who had never had it before. And so it's got this crusty outside. It has this beautiful melt in your mouth centerpiece, which is lighter than marshmallows. It really is. And then you put the cream on top, put the whipped cream on top, and then you traditional decoration is with kiwi fruit and passion fruit, but people will decorate with kiwi fruit, and well, some sort of fruit goes on top. But the idea behind the kiwi fruit being on there was to represent her tutu, and the lightness that's inside was to represent her dancing. And there's this whole story that goes about the different parts of a pavlova that represents who she was. And then in her biography that was written a few years later, the chef's name from this hotel in Wellington was actually mentioned, that he was the one that presented it to her. And she didn't tour Australia till I think it was like about 6 years later, according to this article that I read. And this article was actually written by an Australian. And he says, I'm going to cop a lot of flack for this. I'm sure he did. But he laid out the history there for it. And it was meant to be some guy in Perth who is claimed to be the first one to give her the pavlova, but he'd been beaten to it like 6 years beforehand. So sorry, my Aussie friends. Enjoy our creation as your national dessert. We have no problem sharing it with you. But there's articles out there, including Anna Pavlova's biography, which actually mentions the name of the chef in Wellington who actually presented her with the pavlova for the very first time in 1926. So, so I did pavlova that night for dessert. It was awesome. It was amazing. But we had friends come over and they'd never had pavlova before, and this was a different night. And so I made this pavlova, and it turned out perfectly. It was just perfect. It was one of the most perfect pavs I have done. And they can be a little bit of a challenge to make at times. And so I made this thing. We gave it to them, and they had a slice and tried it. And the guy is sitting there, and he goes, "This isn't right." And I like turn around and I go, because I was in the kitchen, I turn around making coffee, and I says, "What do you mean it's not right?" And he goes, "No," he says, "this isn't right." And in my head, I'm going, "This is the most perfect pavlova I have ever made. It looks fantastic. It's going to taste even better." And I go, "What's not right about it?" He turns around and he goes, "Air should not taste this good." And I was like, "Oh, my goodness for that." So yes. So if you make a perfect pav, it tastes like air. Yes, according to him. But anyway, and if you get those, this one really gets me. I went to a place one time, and they had a New Zealand theme thing going one night at this restaurant that was close to us in Virginia. And we went there one night, and then we went there for our wedding anniversary. Is our wedding anniversary? It was our wedding anniversary we went there for. And they had a New Zealand menu. I thought, well, this will be interesting. And Brad had somehow found out about it. So he books us in. We go to this restaurant, and they had pavlova for dessert. And so they bring out pavlova. Of course, I had to order it. So they bring out the pavlova, and I looked at it and I go, "What's this?" They go, "That's pavlova." And I looked and went, "No, it's not." And the guy goes, "Yes, it is." I says, "No, it's not." I said, "This is a meringue basket. That is not a pavlova." He goes, "What do you mean?" I says, "I make pavlovas all the time." I said, "This is not one." And he looks at me and he goes, and it basically was, a pavlova is about this round or bigger. And he brought out something that was about this round, and it was piped meringue, and they put the cream inside with the fruit on top. I go, "No." I said, "This is a meringue basket. It is not a pavlova." I said, "Pavlovas are usually about this big, and you've got to slice them up, and they've got all this beautiful marshmallow, light, airy marshmallow inside." And he said, like, "Oh, but that's what we're calling pavlova." I says, "No, you guys are misnaming it." I said, "It tastes really good, but it ain't a pavlova." I even offered to go and show the chefs how to make one. But there was a restaurant in was it Alexandria? I think it's in Alexandria. I can't think of the name of it, but it was done as a Kiwi style cafe. And you go in there, and there's all this artwork on the wall that is for sale. And down in the basement, they actually have these art studios where the art students will go down there. They create pieces of art. They're then put on the walls to display and sold. And I walked in there, and they had hokey pokey ice cream. They had pavlova in the window. And I'm like, I said to Brad, I says, "Well, I know what I'm having for dessert." They had bakery display, and they had all these different treats in there, like custard squares and chocolate eclairs and New Zealand donuts. And our donuts are a little different to the donuts you get over here. They're long. They're long, and you split them. There's a strip of raspberry jam, and then there's whipped cream in there. It's all covered in powdered sugar. Oh, it's really good. And we walked into this. I want to say it was called cassavas. No, that's the name of the flour I used. Cassettes. It's called Cassettes. Cassatt's. I think it is Cassettes. But there was a Kiwi style restaurant, and they had a lot of Kiwi menu items on there. Oh, we visited that place several times. And when you go in, they had the pavlova there. And if you want a pavlova, you got a slice of real pavlova, not a meringue basket with cream and whipped cream and fruit in it and calling it a pavlova. It was a real pavlova, and it was scrumptious. And I had it with scoops of hokey pokey ice cream. And yeah, that was a favorite place to visit, that one. And we had mint, and we had roast lamb, and they brought out and they actually had New Zealand lamb there. And had roast lamb, and they brought out with mint sauce, because you got to have mint sauce with roast lamb. I just felt like I was getting spoiled in that place, because I could go in there and I could get all my New Zealand favorite dishes there, and just but they never did a bacana burger. And a bacana burger is bacon and banana on a burger. So you get the hamburger patty, they put in slices of grilled banana with some bacon on there, bacana. And then you've got the cheese in there, and the tomato and the beetroot, and pickled beets, slices of pickled beets, and then the lettuce in there as well. It is and then if they use it, and you can also get it as a lamb burger or a hamburger. And if they do the lamb burger, they put mint sauce on it as well. I tell you, I get spoiled when I go back home to New Zealand. I go find all these little things that I miss. But now my mouth is utterly watering, so I'm going to go have some dinner now. So thank you, everybody. Thank you for those on Facebook and YouTube and TikTok for all tuning in. Thank you for your loves, your comments, and everything else. Go out, have a super fantastic sparkling evening, and we will be back here tomorrow evening at 6 p.m. Pacific. Hei konara.